New vibes. Who taught you bad man don't dance?
What did you do to this?
What does she mean? Like, she don't even know how to work her microphone. Welcome back, everybody. This is She and I. I am your host, beloved, and like always, I have my very special host with me,
India Marie.
India Marie and beloved, the husband and wife duo you didn't know you need, but you got us and we are here to stay. This is the best thing to happen on a Tuesday. Well, damn it, since Monday. Give it up for yourself out there right now. Clap. Clap.
No.
Sure, you want to clap for y'all, man. Thank y'all for listening. Thank y'all for tuning in. If you are on YouTube right now, I'd like to give my sincerest apologies for the different vibes that are in the background. I know it's nothing in the background today. No lights, no cameras, plenty of cameras, no action. We had to do some rearranging right now. So we're in the process of rearranging some things. Who knows? We may or may not be in a new studio in the coming weeks. You know what I mean? Things may be a little different. We're trying to get a new studio vibe popped off. So, we're just trying to figure some things out right now. That's the truth. That's the truth. I don't want to.
First of all, it ain't never been the truth with an S. Well, I mean, with an F.
Always been the truth with the F, man. No. It's always been. Where's she from?
Why are you speaking like that? The truth.
That's the truth.
That was ugly. That was ugly. Don't say that.
Listen, man.
Don't say that.
Coming from the person. Truth. Coming from the person.
You want to talk about people from Memphis?
Yep, there you go. Who says, what's your favorite word? What kind of fish do you like to eat when you go out to eat?
Salmon.
Oh, now you're going to say it right.
I've never called salmon.
Yes, you have.
No, I haven't.
What's that thing you stick people with?
What?
That thing. This thing.
A knife?
The longer one. What is it called?
Everybody mix up sword and sword.
I've never heard of a person that day in my life mix up sword and sword.
Everybody I know call it a sword. So.
But I can't say elf. You know what I mean? Anyway, how was
That's a common mistake. Because of the way that sword is spelled, it would make sense for someone to mistake sword, when it's supposed to be sword. But truth?
Yeah, a lot of people say
never had an F, and I know not a lot of people say truth.
A lot of people say truth, earth. Give me another one. Come on, help me out there, man. Y'all know the vibes that you from Mississippi.
That's his outfit. That's Atlanta, Mississippi coming out.
Atlanta, boy, y'all know. Listen, the earth is my turf. Come on, let's go. T.I. made that rhyme in the song. So how you gonna tell me? Don't be disrespectful. It's Father's Day, matter of fact. Mind you, it's about to be Father's Day. You being disrespectful on the podcast.
Because you can't talk today?
I can't talk.
Anyways.
I got a lot of juice in my mouth. I am drinking. I am drinking. Listen, man. So the other night, can I say this? She made me take out my aligners the other night before we start doing adult activities. She was like, oh my God, you just gonna do that with those in your mouth? And I'm like, bro, either you want it done or you don't. My teeth doesn't have anything to do with my tongue. So I took them out. I acquiesced to her request. But how you gonna stop my flow from me going down low? I'm talking about I'm ready to go. I've tucked my napkin into my shirts. I have got my utensils ready, if you know what I mean. And I'm getting ready to do my thing. All of a sudden, you need to take those out first. I'm like, wow. But we got to respect women.
I don't like it. I think leaving your Invisalign out, I think that leaving your Invisalign in is worse than having braces.
What you mean?
Like if you eating some...
you're doing some fine dining in locations unknown.
Because the Invisalign, like spit already sits in the Invisalign.
Right. So what if I want to take a little sip later on? I just grab one, get a little sip later on if I'm missing you. Missing you is... Come on, what if I need to do that? I know this is disgusting. I would never do
absolutely disgusting.
However,
we're done with this conversation.
I just had to say it out loud.
We're done with this conversation.
I got a question that builds off of that conversation. Like, what are some things or what else have I done to, like, you were in the mood, you ready to go, or vice versa. I'm in the mood and I'm ready to go, and all of a sudden you stop and say, you need to X, Y, Z.
I mean, nothing that I can remember. The Invisalign is something that I've just been like, because the first time it was last year, you did it with a man, and I was like, why you take them out?
Yeah, why you ain't say that
this
time?
I should have. This time I was just like, I'm still good. Take them shits out. Take them out.
But listen, sometimes we ain't got enough time to be taking stuff out because we have a crying baby and we need to tend to her, and we just got to, find, pick, and choose spots where we can get
I'm
it
so
in.
tired. If y'all are sitting here looking like
both of us,
she looks tired, it's because I am.
Exhausted. I look like last week, and the reason why I look like last week is because I couldn't go in the room and change clothes because she's in our room sleep right now. So I'm like, oh well, got a hat and got a shirt and look like last week. But yeah, we are dog tired. The baby.
I think I'm more tired now than what I was within like the first month of me having her.
Yeah, she's an animal. She's turned into a whole different human being. At first, I thought we had the perfect baby, right? Baby didn't cry. Baby didn't use her passy. The baby woke up, pooped a few times, went to sleep. Woke up, pooped a few times, I forgot, ate, went to sleep. But now, she does not sleep. She cries all day, and she only wants one person. And that's fine, completely fine with me. But when I'm left alone with Shiloh, it becomes a little beef situation. But we still working through it. Still working on it.
She don't be talking like she's just no bad baby. She just don't want to sleep. She just doesn't want to sleep.
Call it what you want.
Even during the day, her naps be like 30-minute cat naps.
Yeah.
And I just like, what is happening? She is going through a leap right now. So I'm giving her a little grace, but we tired.
Yeah.
We real sleepy right now.
And we've been busy, man. Like I said, we going.
So I got goals, right? So breastfeeding has me losing too much weight. I'm down. I weigh 10 pounds less than I did when I got pregnant with Shiloh. And so I was like, I gotta get some weight back on me. So I started training with Barrett's trainer. I'm teaching Pilates at Terra Training Fitness, but now I'm also paying her to train me because I need help putting on my weight again, right? And so where was I going with this?
I have no idea. You said you had goals and you were trying to meet your goals, but I think you were going to say you couldn't go to the gym.
This morning,
okay, I got you.
I started going last week. This morning, Shiloh, I can't even count how many times she woke up last night. Good Lord. And so I done slept through my alarm. There's no telling how many times I snoozed it. He walks in there at 7:30. I thought you were going to the gym today. And I'm so out of it that it's not even registering to me that it's Monday. And I said that I was going to go to the gym on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays.
Slept right through. So I'm trying to help her. You know what I'm saying?
So now I already missed my day.
And it is what it is at this point. It is what it is. But you had a question. You want to read that? Speaking of these kids, you want me to read it out loud because you had something in your phone you want to talk about. And I'm going to pitch it to you right now.
Is having kids really that bad?
I thought about this all last night. So when I saw this, I'm like, man, this is the perfect topic. Is having kids. Because some people think that having kids is all bubbles and cupcakes and running. And it is. You know what I mean? If you have help around. But go ahead. Read the question.
Not trying to be rude, but I see so many comments from people saying they wish they hadn't had kids and how much they regret it due to how much it affects their lives. I'm 27 and me and my partner are thinking about having kids in the next few years, but the comments really do make me worry it's not worth it. I know kids are going to change your life, but is it really that bad? I think there's a couple of different levels to unpack here.
Today, yes.
No.
Okay.
There has never been a moment in my life since I've had kids where I have regretted having them. Even in like the most tiring, stressful moments, there's never been a time where I've regretted having kids.
That's a fact.
There are things that I miss about my life prior to having kids. but I don't regret having kids.
Right.
And having kids come with challenges.
Yeah.
So there's the actual challenge of raising the kids, right? But then you also have the added challenge of navigating life with the kids with the person you've chosen to have kids with.
That's the biggest thing. You got it.
And so your relationship changes. You go through cycles. And so I think transitioning from 1 to 2 has been easier. It's been, well, I'll say this. Transitioning from 1 to 2 has been harder as far as the load of the work around the house and the kids.
Yeah,
but as far as our relationship goes, it was harder with Blake.
Yeah, I think it was. You're right.
It hasn't, transitioning from 1 to 2 kids hasn't really affected our relationship.
Nah.
The way that it did after we had Blake. After we had Blake, it was just
a whirlwind.
Yeah.
The change was so big that I don't think we expected it, right? You all know that the roles will change, things will change, people will change. So when you have kids, it's like, man, when you had the first one is like, whoa, this is a big change. It's like, man, listen, moving in with the person for the first time, you got a new person moving into your house. All of a sudden, you got to make sure this person is fed, can't take care of himself. But then for 2, the second kid is like, all right, man, we know what to expect now. We know how to manage this thing now. So it's not that bad, I don't think.
And it's kind of like you see why people, like, after they have the second one, they go on to keep having kids because not much changes.
I don't see that. I don't see that.
Stop. It's because you just know what to do.
Well, yeah.
There's like nothing to be surprised about at that point when it comes to having kids. That's not to say that we want a third one.
To talk to him.
But I also see how, like, when people have them, they're just like, I'll just keep having them. But then on the flip side, I also understand when people have one and they decide to be done because it's not easy. But again, there's also no regret. Yeah. It's just, I feel like it doesn't matter what you do in your life. You're always going to have challenging moments. Depending on what you pick and choose, right? And so we chose to have kids.
That's a fact. You said something. You said something important earlier that I don't want to glaze over. I'm sorry. You said that it's important to make sure that the person you have the kid with is the right person too. And I think that's the biggest thing. Like, man, like having kids, hell no, I don't regret it at all. Like, I love my children, love both of them to death. Now, you can have kids and love your children to death and then not like the person that you had them with. I know that's a fact, and that can become a problem. That can cause unnecessary tension between you and your kids because you regret having the kids with that particular person. Love your kids to death. Don't like that person. Shit, you can't even look at them. Drop the kids off. You drive right on off fast, too. Don't even want to come back. And I think that's the biggest issue with that question because we get along just fine. But it's like you said, carving out the time and making sure that we have time for each other and also making sure that we tag team the kids.
So in regards to the, you saying so many people say that they hate having kids. I don't think there's enough conversation prior to getting pregnant. Because a lot of people have children with people, even people who are in marriages, have children together and they don't agree with how the kids should be raised. They have different values when it comes to kids. And that also is a big strain on the relationship. So, that's an issue for people who are not, that's an issue for people who choose to not stay together after they have kids and for people who are married, and decide to have kids. And so I think there should be more conversation on the front end. So if you're like, okay, I'm 20, how did she say? She was 27.
Yeah, 27.
In the next couple of years, so by 30, I want to have my first kid. I think over the next couple of years, it should be some serious conversations about, okay, what does that look like? How do we want our children to be raised? How do you plan to discipline your children? Would you like our children to go to private school or public school? Are there any family members around that you wouldn't feel that you wouldn't feel comfortable with our kids going to. Start having those types of conversations. Maybe book a therapy session so y'all can talk about like.
I knew it was coming.
I'm serious because
I knew it was coming
because you have kids and then you don't realize the type of things you're going to have issues with. Like one of our biggest disagreements is the way that we feed our children.
Yeah, it's a fact.
As far as like what they're going to eat,
Mm-hmm.
less junk food, more fruits and vegetables. Like, and he's like, "Well, let them be kids. Eat all the sugar you want." And I'm like, "But he needs substance. He he needs nutrients." And so that's been one of our biggest arguments. It could have helped had we had that conversation beforehand.
We didn't need therapy to have that conversation. We just should have said, hey, this is where I align on food. Where do you align? We could have talked about it and then level set and got an equal playing field on what we wanted to do moving forward.
Well, the reason why I'm suggesting therapy is because therapists ask questions for things that you don't think about.
I got you.
When it comes to stuff like that. And you could get in front of a therapist and they could ask you a question and you could be like, I've never actually thought about that.
I'm with it.
What childhood trauma do you have that could spill over into our future kids' relationships? How are you disciplined by your parents? Do you plan to discipline your kids the same way that your parents disciplined you?
That's a good one. Ain't no corporal punishment. I'm not hitting no kids.
So it's challenging, but again,
you can get through it.
When we decided, and my mom jokes about, so with my mom and my dad, none of us were playing. There's three of us. I'm the oldest. None of us were playing. But with Baird and I, we planned both of our children.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like with the plan, it's less room for surprises. It's like we know what we're getting into. Yeah. Granted, you don't know what type of child you're going to have and the challenges that's going to come with each child.
Right.
But you just face that as you approach them, as they come.
I'm gonna tell y'all right now on this podcast, if we have another kid, it's not planned. It's 100% not planned. It's the most unplanned thing in the world. Like y'all think y'all playing Russian roulette? No. That would be the most unplanned situation I have ever thought about. I'm putting this gun in the holster, Jack. I'm telling you, I'm still thinking about getting these nuts snipped. But I don't feel comfortable letting the doctor cut on my balls like that. So I'm going to keep doing what I've been doing. Like the other day, I'm going, here I go. I'm taking it there. The other day, I thought about it. I'm like, man, not thought about that. I'm like, boy, it was getting a little bit too loose for me. Like loose in a good way. Like we going too crazy. So before we got to that point, I hit the eject button. And it's okay to eject a little bit sooner than you would like to. Rather safe than sorry. So if that's what it takes for me to do, that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to calculate 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump, 4, and then get to the 4.5 and I'm trying to get loose. No, I'm out of there 1 pump, 2 pump, 3 pump, and I'm out. And then by the 4th and the 5th, well, whatever, I'm just going to have to do. You get what I'm saying without saying it. If you don't, you never been in my situation before. So
that's why they need male birth control.
Yeah, they do. Because if it's 100%. Effective, then I'll take it. But I'm not playing with that 1%. I'm not playing with it 99.9 at open. I'm no way.
So yeah, if there's ever another pregnancy announcement from us, it's definitely an oopsie. You don't want to get snipped.
Fired that day.
And I'm not going back in to get my tubes tied. So it could very well be an oopsie, but it's definitely not nothing planned up.
Not at all. Not at all. So I'm trying to be safe, man. Like I said, I'm pulling out well before it gets to that point. Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say back to like the original topic.
Yes, kids.
As far as people say that they hate kids. I feel like it's more so a hating of the kid. Now, some people I have seen online, I'm like, damn, you really don't like having kids, do you?
It's the partner,
but I think it's the fact that they just miss their old lives. And so I understand that everything comes in seasons. And right now, this is just our season to be in the house raising the kids.
That's
One
cool.
day, the kids will get older and we'll be back outside. Well, this is our season right now. But again, we chose this and it's fine.
So we can't take our frustrations out on our kids. I told y'all the time I went to Publix and I saw the dude throw his kid in the car and talk bad to him. That really broke my heart. Like, I'm never going to take my frustrations or my impatientness out on my kids. And that's the main thing. You can, as long as you got patience, you can deal with everything else. And just like I said, find time. If you got help, you're good. You don't have to worry about none of that. If you have somebody around you that can help you take care of your kids, free child care, can come over when you need them to come over and be there, then you're good. My cousin back in Mississippi had my grandmother there and his mom and everybody else that was around. Like, it was a whole community there to help raise his son. And he's on a great path right now. So, I mean, listen, it works. If you have the community around you, it's better than not. So I will say that.
And then I've had to just release, a little bit of control because we don't have family here. But there are things that we want to do outside of our kids. And so
we supposed to be going to the strip club in Nashville. We still ain't been. This month we supposed to be going to the strip club.
Only out of sheer curiosity.
I'm trying to get in that thing. Throw about, I ain't gonna tell me what I'm gonna throw, depending on how y'all look.
But every person that we have allowed to watch our kids have just kind of, all the people that have worked out has just kind of fallen in our lap.
And it's amazing. I love it.
And so I've had moms ask me, like, how do you find people to watch your kids? If it's like an extended stay, we're traveling to the grandparents.
Yeah.
Like, we can take the kids down to Mississippi. Bear and I are going on vacation by ourselves in a couple of weeks. And so my mom and sister are coming in.
Okay, there's something we got to talk about that a lot of people don't talk about. You also have to trust the other person's family and family members to watch your kids. Listen, there's some people in this family I'm not going to leave my kids with. I love them to death. They just I'm not going to go too far. I'm not going to leave the city with you having my kid. I'm going to be in the city, be in the vicinity. I can come get him. You know what I mean? Or her. But everybody, India's mom is whatever. Well, I'm going to leave both my kids with Miss Blake. You got it. But other family members I get nervous about.
Same.
Even my mama right now.
I was saying vice versa.
Even my mama. My mama, Blake is in Mississippi. My mom told me 2 days after Blake got down here, she broke her toe. And then she wanted to take my son skating. Now I started getting a little skeptical. Like, where is your head at? He can't skate. Well, I'm going to still skate with him. Why? You just broke your toe. Make it make sense. So listen, you have to be aware of who's watching your kid. And I'm telling you, boy, even the family members get a little sketchy. You got to watch out. So
I say it's a trust factor. But like I said, everybody else is kind of like, so like one of the people that watches Blake is an old teacher from his school. And we love her. The kids love her. And my homegirl Sydney, her mama watches the kids.
Big Sid.
We love and trust her. So when it comes to that kind of stuff, you really just kind of tap into your intuition. I don't know what kind of intuition he has, but there has been times where, somebody was supposed to watch Blake and I've changed my mind at the last minute. She
gonna hate on me. I ain't never called her. She always catch it straight. Anyway, to go back to answer the question.
Something just fell off and I was like, no, we're not doing it. I'd rather not go anywhere than send my kids with somebody that I don't 100% trust.
That's a fact. We talked about this. So to answer the question, have kids, man. It's not bad at all. It's not, you can figure it out. Get your money straight, get your person straight, open them legs, and get you a kid. That's all you got to do.
But it's also okay if you don't want kids. Like, if you decide you just don't want kids, then that's fine too. Because some people have kids and don't deserve them.
Yes. Talk about it.
But if you want kids and you're hesitant just because of what you see people say online, no. Yeah. Don't do that. Just plan. Prepare and plan and then, you'll be fine.
Yeah, don't read into that. Don't read too much into it. But let's get down to business because I do got something to talk about really quickly. Let's do it.
During the week, we got deep. Chill. Let's talk on the podcast.
That's what man, we watched that on Tiny Desk over the weekend. If you haven't, fellas out there, any of my homeboys listening to this, let me tell you what you need to do. This is Thursday, because you're going into the weekend. Go ahead and start getting her ready, all right? So Thursday is what I want you to do. I want you to turn on that baby face, Tiny Desk. Get you some wine for your woman and tell her y'all gonna do something different tonight. Cut it on. Man, get you a charcuterie board, put it out, get ready, and just chill. Watch Babyface and let Babyface do your macking. And by the time the concert over, you already put your hand on that thigh and you slid up to that vagina, and then you just get busy.
Oh, bro.
And then you know what to do with that Babyface.
You should have started the podcast with that Karen White.
But it's too slow. It's too slow.
That's
my favorite
not.
song. Hey, it's too slow.
No, it's not.
I can't get the vibes where I need it to be right there. I'm already.
You just skip to the middle of the song.
I'm not doing that. Yeah, I'm DJing on the podcast. What are you saying right now, Queen?
That's a great song. If you have not heard,
if you ain't heard that, you should be listening to this podcast. This ain't for you. This ain't the podcast for you. If you've never heard Karen White, Superwoman, man or woman, this ain't the podcast for you. No more. I rebuke you.
You would?
I said that right. My lip, man. It's my lip. It's my lip and my teeth.
Do not say anything about people from Memphis with the way you talking on this podcast today.
Now, y'all would have said rebuke. The use and everything, y'all. Anyway, we were online over the weekend, and I saw the best post, and I want to come on here and talk about it. The young lady that said people say she's too pretty to work in Home Depot. Give it up for her one time, man. Give it up for her. Now, I saw this post and she was saying, like, man, that's really degrading about people saying that she's too pretty to work in Home Depot. Now, before I start playing, I want to say, because I'm about to start playing, she's right, man. You can't just tell somebody. I saw a lot of people in the comments, you need to get an OnlyFans. Oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. You can't tell somebody to be a sex worker. If that's not what they want to do, like sex work, some people love it. And it's cool if you do. That's your job. Like, but you can't just make a person want to be a sex worker when they have ethics and morals and that just don't align with that type of work. She wants to work at Home Depot and earn what she deems to be an honest living. What's wrong with that?
For one, she was a very pretty girl. But from what I know, Home Depot pays well. My old boss from one of the companies that I used to work for, she worked at Home Depot out of college. Mm-hmm. So it's a decent job. She getting paid for what she needs to pay for. She's a college student.
There you go.
I think it's commendable because she is not, a lot of pretty girls in college, they're on social media, they're getting the social media deals and, they're trying to be an influencer. You got the OnlyFans girls and all of that. And granted, so when I read the post, I understood what she was saying. If you've ever been a woman walking through Home Depot, like, I kid you not.
It's a non-traditional job.
I cannot, this is me as a person not working at Home Depot. I can't go into Home Depot by myself without being stopped by a man. Ring on or not, every time I go to Home Depot by myself, I am being stopped by a man.
And imagine working at Home Depot looking like she looks.
So she's a pretty girl and she works there. Of course, it does not surprise me that men are like, you too pretty to be working in.
Why you working at Home Depot? I've seen y'all go to the strip club and that's the same thing. Boy, T-Pain made a whole song about it. Boy, you too fine to be working in the strip club. What you want her to do? So it's the same thing. Like, what you want her to do? You finna take out, you gonna pay her bills. But it'd be the same men hollering about, I want me an independent woman. I want a woman that's going to have her own. Well, look, she trying to get her own. She hustling.
If you go to Home Depot, she said she works in the paint department. It's always a woman working in the paint department.
Because y'all got good color skills. Men are colorblind. A woman
working in the paint department. I've seen so many women working in the paint department at Home Depot.
Men are colorblind, but you ain't seen so many women that look like that. That's what they saying. I ain't saying, let me back out. You said she was pretty. I'm just agreeing with you.
She's gorgeous. She's a very pretty girl.
I didn't want to catch her straight. But so I didn't see any problem with all the men were just going crazy. They were doing too much. Now, there was some funny comments under there, though. They were like, man, I can't wait to go get hammered at this Home Depot.
But that's the problem. Like, men are disgusting. Like, men be making things uncomfortable for women for no fucking reason. They have no boundaries. Like, men, you niggas, y'all need to do better.
She was a Christian woman.
Suck on a lot of levels.
I just didn't understand what they wanted her to do, though. But now I will say this.
And if you think she's so pretty to work there, then write a fat check and be like, here. This will last you. How many more years you got in college? Write a big fat ass check to get her through the rest of college and leave her alone. Other than that, keep your comments to yourself.
They don't want that. They don't want that. You know what they try. You too pretty to work at Home Depot. Here, let me take you out.
What I am is too pretty to be sitting here talking to your ugly duck ass.
You on fire, so I'm gonna let you cut me off for that one. But don't do it again, because I forgot what I was gonna say. I was ready to keep loose. But for real. So it's okay to work at Home Depot. However, if she was changing tires at Discount Tires, then I would say the same thing. I'm not even gonna lie. If I see you change the oil at Mazda, I'm gonna be like, India, you.
I think what are some jobs? Because some women really like that kind of stuff. I think that
bruh, ain't no woman finna be changing no tires.
If that's what they want to do, then let them do it. We were looking at a home. We were looking at a home that we were thinking about buying a week ago, and they're building. So the home we were looking at was already finished. They're building a home next to that one, and I was looking out the window. It was a woman on top of the roof,
laying shingles. Oh my God, she was getting it in. I'm like, yeah.
So if women want to have jobs that are traditionally for men, let them have their jobs.
But she wasn't. So
you finna say that lady wasn't pretty? What are you trying to say?
I wasn't saying nothing.
We don't know how she looks outside of them construction clothes.
You got a good point. It's because
she could clean up real nice.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I kind of saw it from a distance though, but I'm not saying that you're wrong. All I'm saying is that if a woman,
I actually thought it was cool. I said, "Damn, look at her up there building a roof." I want to know how to build a roof.
All right, chill. Now you just taking it too far. Listen. What are some jobs?
You think I'm playing up for real?
Whatever. What are some jobs that you would think you're too pretty to do? What are some jobs that
No, because I don't want nobody coming for me.
Come on, man. We just having a good time. We podding right now. We podding. What are some jobs? I'm gonna tell you what.
There's not a job that I think that I'm too pretty to do.
Okay.
There's not a job that I think I'm too pretty to do.
We just podding right now. Come on.
If it came down to it, and I needed to do any type of... I ain't finna sell my soul for no money. We're not doing that. But say, for instance, I was down on hard times and I had to be a janitor or, a cleaning person or whatever. Like, I'm not too pretty to do anything. Right?
Yeah.
There has been a job that I applied for.
I was going to talk about it.
I cried. But it had nothing to do with my looks. It had everything to do with the fact that I wanted more. Bottom. Yes.
My girl called me crying.
So it was
the Amazon
I'll
warehouse.
tell y'all the story. It was I had just finished at MTSU. I was looking for a job. Mind you, I had been on several interviews for other jobs and had not landed any of the jobs. I went to school for community and public health. I had interviewed at the health department. I had minored in social work, and I had also interviewed at this juvenile detention facility as a tutor for the boys. Didn't get that job. So I'm going on these interviews and I'm not landing anything. While I was in college, I was working at a daycare. I worked with infants. I've always loved babies. But I was trying to find a job and what I went to school for, and nothing was happening for me. So I was like, okay, I need a job. I need a job today.
My girl pulled up at Amazon.
So I pulled up at Amazon because I had known several people who, it was in Murfreesboro. We knew a lot of people that had worked at the Amazon warehouse. And so I walked in there. Of course, they hired me on the spot. I think I was supposed to start like the next day. Was it that day or something?
They were like, shit, that evening, that night.
Yeah, because I had went in there, filled out the application. I did the drug test, and I was supposed to start. But it was just it was like the thought of me having to just pick up stuff and just pick up, move it online. That that I was just like, I don't want to do this. Mm-hmm. And so I went out to the car and I just boohooed. I called Bear and I was bawling.
Here come Daddy Warbucks to the rescue.
Like I said, it had absolutely nothing to do with the way I looked. It was just the simple fact that I didn't want to do that job.
Yeah.
And I think that's okay.
You know what? You mentioned the job.
And so
you mentioned. Go ahead.
I sat there and I like cried some more because I was supposed to go back in to fill out something else, so that I could start working that night.
My girl drove off.
And I drove off.
She ain't want to work.
I drove off.
She ain't want to work.
So,
but you're not too pretty to work at a warehouse. It wasn't what you had in the cards.
Exactly.
Yeah, I got you.
And so I prayed about it, and then the next day I was like, well, I've worked in daycares before. I'll just go find another daycare job.
Yeah.
Because Amazon wasn't paying that much, but it was going to be enough to help me with what I needed help with at that time. And so I was like, well, I'll just go back to a daycare. And so I'm not from the area. I'm from Memphis.
Talk to him.
So I wasn't familiar with other areas around Murfreesboro. Like I wasn't familiar with Franklin and Nashville and all of that.
All right, you about
so
to
I
go
told
deep.
him, I said, you know what? I heard that they pay more.
Yeah, you did say that.
In Franklin. So the next day, I called this daycare in Franklin random. Like daycares in Franklin, called the first one that popped up. And it's like, yeah, we're hiring. Come on in for an interview. So I went in and got that job. And I think I was getting paid like $13, $14 an hour. But I stayed there, and that is how I ended up in project management. So
if you want to know more about her resume, you can reach out to her.
And you probably like, how you go to project management from daycare?
Oh,
well, I had a parent.
We don't want to know all.
No, because it's the end to this story. I had a parent. I had her kid in my classroom, and she was like, I feel like you should be doing something more than this. And I was like, I feel that too, because I'm still applying for jobs. And so I interviewed for a job at her company as a project coordinator, got that job, and I ended up there for like 3 years. And then by the end of it, I was a project manager. Sometimes it just ain't sitting right in your spirit with stuff you're supposed to do. Sometimes stuff's not making sense, but it'll make sense in the long run. Okay?
What did they have to do with the topic?
While I don't think I'm too pretty for a single job.
Okay, here we go. Way to bring it back.
A job doesn't feel right, I know that it's because God has something greater for me down the line. And so for the young lady that works at Home Depot, she could be working at Home Depot now, and there's no telling what type of skills that she could be. What if the girl is trying to be an interior designer and she know how to mix them paint colors, and there's no telling what type of skills she's gaining for what she actually wants to do.
It was only dudes selling her that, though.
Because men ain't got no sense. And I'm sick of them.
We ain't got no game, man. That's what I keep telling y'all. Man, we don't know how to approach a pretty woman. That's really the whole problem. We think that's the intro line for good-looking women who are doing things that we don't think they should be doing. Like I mentioned, non-traditional things. That's the first pickup line. Let me tell you the worst things to say to a woman. Fellas, listen up. I'm coming to you right now. That's number one. You're too pretty to be doing something. I don't know what that something is, but that's one of them. Another one is, hey, queen, you should smile more. What if she's having a bad day? What if she doesn't want to smile? What if her dog just died or something like that? Those two things are not appropriate. Then don't just go up to a woman and try to hug them and touch them either. You can't do those type of things. I think that's where we mess up. We see a pretty woman at Home Depot, instead of just introducing yourself and being normal, the first thing out of our mouth is, damn, man, you sure look good. Why you working at Home Depot? That's silly. You don't know her circumstances. That's why she's working at Home Depot. So I feel like we have to do a better job of approaching women.
And maybe she actually likes her job.
She said she did. I went down the rabbit hole. Hey, yeah, listen. I saw you, Shaq. She too young. But Shaq, I've been seeing you. I seen you with Brittany Renner. We see you. I saw you DM the young lady. We see you, Shaq. Shaq is sniper. Old school sniper. Zion Williamson can use some pointers from Shaq. Because he out here slipping on his
Where are you
pimping.
going with this? You was about to say something.
All I was saying is we got to figure out a better way. That's what I'm trying to say. We have to figure out a better way as men to approach women. And I will say, I thought about this. One of the jobs that I think women are too pretty for, it's like a double entendre, is something you mentioned. And we didn't even talk about that. I think some women are too pretty to be correction officers at a juvenile detention center. And you go in there with all those troubled teens and you look a certain way, they're going to be on your head top.
Well, I will say that job was not for me because I had to go in and I toured the facility. First of all, that was one of them interviews where...
Yeah, you told me that the guys were saying they was trying to shoot at you.
Yeah.
As soon as you walked in, you too pretty for that
But
job.
it wasn't like a one-off interview. I had like 4 interviews at that place. 4 interviews at that place. So I was very close to getting that job, but it wasn't for me. It was not for me.
Listen, man. And then, fellas, when you go to the strip club, too, it's another line you can't say. Man, you know you don't got to do this, right? Well, then she like doing her job. We got to think of something else to say. We have to find a better way to break the ice. And I think that's what we're missing. I think that's what we're missing right now. Ways to break the ice. We need an intro line, and we're not doing a good job at it. So, yeah, we got to figure out a better way. Now,
if somebody come up to me and say I'm too pretty for a certain job, I'm gonna be like, well, what checks are you about to write today?
You're going to get mad at them.
That's going to allow me to stop working this job.
You're going to get fire hot at them. Now, what job would you do in order to, let's say we fell on the hard times, right?
Mm-hmm. We
got a bag, like, I don't know, we done went bankrupt, we need some paper. How far would you go to support our family? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I don't know what you mean by that. I go get like a waitressing job.
As far as you go?
I go to the Waffle House.
Oh, see why you got to take a shot at the Waffle House workers?
I'm not taking a shot at the Waffle House workers. I'm just saying, I go to anywhere. I go be a waitress at a diner.
As far as you go? As far as you take the culture? What if you had an opportunity to model nude? They're going to give you a lot of money. Would you do it?
Model nude?
Nude model?
What's the publication?
Talk to him. Hustler Hollywood. What you doing? You putting them titties on the line for our family?
Hollywood? No, I'm not doing Hustler Hollywood.
What, for our family? You want to put
that wouldn't be a tasteful nude photo.
Chanel Monet showing them titties every time we turn around, and you wouldn't put them titties on the line for our family?
No, because my titties used to look like Janelle Monáe, but I done breastfed 2 kids now. They don't look like Janelle Monáe titties no more.
She had the perfect areola.
Y'all saw that video of Beyonce on her Renaissance tour, and she's in this like long sleeve mini dress, and she's sitting there and she's like bouncing her titties, and like they just flapping. That's what mine are right now. They just flap. They just flap jacks like elephant ears. Elephant ears. Truly titties hang low.
Do they wobble to the flow? You feel me? But listen, low hanging titties are in style now. Let's just go ahead and say that. Titties are back in style. I used to be all about the ass. Titties are making the comeback, right? Because when you hitting that thing from the back and them titties swinging back and forth, it's like a hammock. Put them in the nipples long enough, you can tie them together and make a hammock, and you lay in them titties all night. So titties are making a comeback. Shout out to Janelle Monáe being on the front line of the titty comeback, the titty renaissance. I like it. I like what's going on. I used to be a titty guy back in the day. My first girlfriend in high school, I liked her so much because she had them slabs. That first girlfriend ever. She was like, I was like 7th, 8th grade. And she got things on her. We weren't looking at that tail back in the day, but them breasts, they were there. When I met you.
Because back in the day, it wasn't like the BBL era. Like people people had asses, but they didn't have asses the way the asses are assing today.
They had them homegrown tits though. Them homegrown titties was bouncing. And it wasn't no sports bras back in the day. Them things used to just be moving. It wasn't all sports bras. When I met you, you used to never have on a bra when you were young. Is she poor?
But now I need some support.
Listen, I'm about to get some duct tape. Help her up. Tape the titty to her neck so it can stay where it needs to be. Right?
I need an underwire.
Damn, you going crazy. Man, let me move on because I see something happening in the corner of my eye that we need to hurry up and fast forward.
Now unqualified advice from B-Love and B-Love's relationship.
I got the keys. This week, my relationship tip came from something else I saw online. This morning, I woke up and I saw Jocelyn Hernandez fighting one of the people from her show. Jocelyn Hernandez was fighting, and then I saw her husband jump into the fight. And it made me question, as a husband, when you see your wife fight, do you jump in? So I started looking at myself like, damn, would I jump in? I wouldn't necessarily jump in and like steal off on the girl, but I will like grab you or grab her and let you get a few but then I will pull you off. My thing is this now too. I'm at an age, if my wife is fighting, I need to reconsider. I should have reconsidered a few things a long time ago. Now, if she provoked the fight, then I for sure should have reconsidered. But, you know, if you get into a little altercation and it was unprovoked like you did in that elevator that time, that's a little bit different. She got into an argument like last year, being her big age. I wasn't around, it was the girls. And y'all know girls, when they go out, it's always going to be some mess at the end of the night. They can't never go out. And the biggest thing is about splitting the bill.
You be telling my business.
It don't matter. You tell mine all the time. It's always about splitting the bill, too.
That was not about splitting the bill.
I know, but the most of the time it's about...
And the girls I go out with, we ain't arguing about splitting the bill. We gonna pay for it, and that's gonna be the end of it.
Excuse me,
if we gotta argue about splitting the bill, we're not going out together.
But the majority of the time when girls go out, y'all do argue about a lot of things. What was that about? Who's the better friend? I think it was some bullshit.
I'm just gonna say that it was 100% provoked.
See what I'm saying? So if she's provoked, hold on, but if she's provoked, and if I'm around, hopefully she get the first lick. Now after that, I'm gonna grab her and scoop her. Now I'm not gonna try to jump in. But I am gonna break it up quickly enough so that she doesn't get hit. Hopefully I can do that. Now, if I get hit in the process by the girl, I'm cool with taking a few licks as long as she don't like knock me out of some shit. That's embarrassing. But I am going to grab my woman as quickly as possible and get her out of Dodge and move on. But hopefully you get the first lick and make it good to get you a good one.
No, sometimes my biggest thing is I don't like when people can't hold their liquor.
And that's typically what the fights come from these days.
Yeah.
But if I see you getting jumped,
I don't tolerate no disrespect.
All right, we done with that. But if I see you getting jumped, I'm jumping in. Women or not, I'm not going to let my wife jump in because you have to deal with this when you go back home. You see your wife get beat up. Where were you? Why didn't you help? I'm like, damn. So yeah, I don't want to hit a woman, but if y'all jumping my wife, I'm going to at least push y'all off, push out the way. I'm not going to smack, I'm going to punch. So needless to say, that what Jocelyn's husband did, it was a little bit.
First of all, I didn't know Jocelyn had a husband.
Yeah.
I didn't know she had one.
Because what he did wasn't cool. He kicked that girl while she was on the ground. That's not cool.
Oh, no, that's terrible.
That's not cool. Like, you can't kick nobody when you're on the ground, but
and
you can help
just kind of got to
woman.
let women's business be women's business. I would just kind of expect you to break it up.
Yeah, that's what I said. But she had security there, and security was breaking it up. So I'm not going to fight, like I said, unless you're getting jumped. I'm still not going to fight. I'm going to push everybody out of the way and try to get you as quickly as possible.
Because the thing is, if you're there, you're not going to be the only guy there. So I'm pretty sure one of the other girls in the group would also have a guy there or something like that. And then,
that's a whole other ball game. Then
you got to fight the guy.
Because I wouldn't expect you to help me if I'm fighting, right? If I'm getting beat up or if somebody jumped me, I would hope you just call the police or go get a gun. I call some friends.
Yeah, so it was like a New Year's Eve. Listen,
we talk about this all the time.
Older now. We're a lot older now. But remember it was like we went to a New Year's Eve.
We talk about this a lot, yeah.
Something at somebody's house, and that guy started acting crazy.
We haven't talked about this. Yeah. It was a whole, but he was about to get beat up bad.
And so it was like a whole bunch of guys. Like he was talking so crazy. I don't know if he had a gun but it was too much going on. And I can't fight no man. So I just grabbed like a beer bottle because I was like, well, if they just so happen to come past me, I'll just take the bottle and knock them upside the head.
Hope you do it harder than that.
That's about all I can do.
That's what I'm saying.
When it comes to men.
So you gotta have that conversation with your woman too. Speaking of conversation, y'all need to have. Talk about what happens in situations like that.
But those situations really shouldn't be happening.
You shouldn't
like
have
those situations should not be happening. At this big age, those situations should not be happening. If
you or your woman go out and you're looking for trouble right now, man, shame on y'all, man.
And even when I got into that little altercation, I felt really bad because I have not let someone bring me out of character like that in a very long time.
I thought about that too. I said, yeah.
So I felt bad for like a long time because I was like, I can't believe I acted like that. But again, it was provoked.
Now, something that we did not say, if she goes out with her homegirls and she gets into a fight and she comes back beat up, I'm going to have a problem with her friends for letting her go out and get beat up. Now, we're going to have a long talk about that, and you and your friends can no longer be friends after that. I'm just going to tell you the truth. And that's just it. You, Kayla, Camille, whoever else go out, and then you get into altercation and you get somebody get the best of you, and they didn't help, and you tell me they didn't help, it's over with. You can't be their friends no more. You cannot. Because what are you good for? Me and my homies go out. I don't even care if it's one-on-one. Ain't no fair fight. If I see him getting the best of somebody, like Jocelyn's husband, I'm kicking.
But you also got to know who your friends are. Like, Kayla's not a fighter.
It don't matter. She can just get...
Camille will, though.
Yeah, I know.
But Kayla's not a fighter.
Hopefully she a fighter if she's seen you get your ass kicked. Shit. If I see my homeboy getting his ass kicked, if I'm a fighter or not, I'm doing something. I'm going to jump on top of him and just say, damn, like the grenade, save him, blow me up. I'm not going to let nobody just get the best of my homies, man. Tell the people where they can find you. I'm done.
India.Marie on Instagram.
You can find me. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm going to say, book me for a Pilates class.
Should have said that at the beginning of the podcast. And nobody here support, but I make
you
sure.
should. It's some funny shit at the end of this episode.
I'm gonna make sure they hear. You can find me at D-Love1911 on all social platforms. Please be sure to follow She and Our Podcast. Hit us up at She and Our Podcast at gmail.com. I already said it earlier, but go to YouTube and check us out. Like, subscribe, and share. But in the meantime, in between time, it's been real. It's been fun. I out.